it was a Yowie, and he had tears in his eyes, and we couldn't believe it that we'd seen a Yowie.
Well, yeah. Hey, I had to put you through that again.
That's okay.
Maybe if you could just quickly repeat that second.
Again, the second sighting, I was 16 years of age. I'd just been performing with my dad in the band. He was a singer, and we were coming from Maria. It was 3:30 in the morning in a place on the Princess Highway called Digman's Creek. Embankments on both sides. On the right-hand side, heading south, the bank goes down towards the river, and on the left-hand side, up further into the scrub, and then down to another river, actually, on the other side. About 100 to 120 metres ahead, my father and I saw something in the headlights, which was it looked like a large man, ape-like man, slightly hunched in the middle of the road, looking at the car. He basically, as soon as we went, oh my God, what's that, put the brakes on, turned and then scampered, but walked awkwardly towards the higher side of the embankment, left-hand side for us driving, and climbed up, probably something waist-height to me, up the embankment awkwardly, and then sort of scampered off into the scrub, the thick scrub, toward where we were camping at the time.
Freaky.
When I was younger, yes.
And your dad?
My dad, and then we pulled over. I knew he would pull over. Where it was safe, or where there was an area to, because as I said, it was quite foliagey, and that area, if people know, they'll know where I mean. And then he pulled over, and I sort of grabbed him on the arm. He was looking at me, and he said, "What do you think we saw, or what was that we saw?" And I said, "I think we saw a Yowie," and he just looked at me with tears in his eyes and said that I think we saw a Yowie.
Yeah. So he actually had tears in his eyes. Do you think from what, fear or emotion, or
no, just because he was emotional that he'd actually we'd actually seen something. I mean, talking about paranormal, that type of thing, like a thing that people actually would say was a myth, we'd actually seen. So that's actually quite emotional, and something that he knows his daughter had had an experience with, and then so it was almost like, well, he could witness what I'd seen years before.
Yeah, right. Yeah, no, that's remarkable. And you were saying that you had had some other experiences with perhaps spirits or paranormal phenomena in the Gables, the house at Cobargo that your family lived in.
The Cobargo on Tallington Street. I'll give brief accounts. I've had numerous.
Just in general terms.
General terms. We experienced basically people that were meant to be looking after us when we were younger. People that had no idea of what we'd been feeling, or footsteps, or seeing things moving, or things going missing, and seeing things levitating. Babysitters, we'd go to bed and they'd take off in the middle of the night, or they'd come and wake us up and say, "We cannot stay, we're going to call your parents." We've seen the fire implements, fire picks, just moving so aggressively, or doors slamming, or one girl that was she would have been 25, that was babysitting us, actually saw whom we thought was a lady called Clara, who had actually occupied the house in about 1970, from 1950s to 1970.
Her name was Clara.
Clara Tallington.
Oh, right.
She thought that the girl was actually in the main part of the house, the babysitter, in the main part of the house, and she actually went up one of the hallways to go to the bathroom and came face to face with an old woman that she didn't realise was staying in the house with us. But then the old woman wasn't there anymore. She wasn't in the house. She went looking for her. I thought it was my great-grandmother or something, and it was Clara.
Oh dear. So, and apart from the stuff in the house, the Gables, you also had the odd strange experience in the in a hall in Cobargo too,
Yes,
didn't
I
you?
did. We had a hangout, as we called it, which was a local football club. My friends and I every Saturday would go there every Saturday morning. We'd go there. We had a bike gang, so there was about 6 of us, I think, my best friend, my sister and a couple of other people. And we went up there like every normal Saturday morning. We walked in there. We were used to having 3 rooms, seeing 3 rooms, just whatever kids do, hanging out in 3 rooms. We walked in and there was 1 room. We can't explain it. We went to talk to the man that actually looked after this property. He thought we were crazy that there was always 1 room. We knew there were 3 rooms. We also had experienced seeing a gentleman there that was a janitor cleaning. He never really spoke to us at all or made eye contact, but this man apparently didn't exist either.
That is super freaky, Jodi. That's really weird.
And my friends would, if they were here now, they would say that some of them are not as probably open to talking about it, but they would, if I brought it up, they would bring it up. They'd go, I remember that, I can't explain it.
It's very, very interesting, the whole thing. And you said your sister and your brother had independently seen the hairy man or Yowie.
What they thought was, I mean, my brother just said, when I actually told my account, when I was 11 and when I was 16, my brother is 8 years my junior, so he was quite young when I'd seen the first time. When I was 16, I probably didn't tell him, but later on he actually told me. We were on a property living, strangely again, right near Digman's Creek. We actually occupied a farm there for a couple of years. And my brother was probably playing down in a creek that adjoined Digman's Creek, whether it be Digman's Creek or not, I don't know. With a friend, I think, and he came back white, very scared, and told my stepmother at the time that he thought he'd seen some really big hairy man that he thought was a vagrant. He didn't use the word vagrant, but he
big hairy
couldn't
man.
explain.
It sounds suggestive, doesn't it? Yeah, I got to visit this Digman's Creek spot.
I think so.
And your sister too?
My sister as well.
Was she older or younger?
My sister is 20 months younger than me, 2 years. She, around the same time I would say, or maybe a little bit further on from when I had the first sighting. There's a hill or a mountain behind Cobargo, our hometown, called Mount Robinson, and often we'd take off up there. It was trespassing or whatever, but we thought it was our
Oh, sure, when you're kids,
So she went up there and she was sitting there, probably having a picnic on her own, I think, writing a book or something, and basically felt somebody looking at her.
Same old thing.
Same feeling, and looked around and she saw like a really big man, but I don't think she had as clear a view as me. She was so frightened, like she didn't look for very long, or she just took off. And I think she was running, she wasn't on a bike or anything.
So, the time of that roughly, that was after your first experience?
So that would have been, I'd say that actually would have been about 86. She would have been about 10.
Yeah. Well, that's great stuff, Jodi. Look, thanks very much. I do appreciate that. I better tell the camera again.
I think you better.
Okay, this is Jodi-Lee Jessup, now resident in Darwin.